Good evening. Recently, Coop posted a video to YouTube basically saying that if you are building a garage gym, that the Glute ham bench might not be the best piece of equipment for your garage. He said basically, and he had a posterior chain developer, which is a Glute ham bench plus reverse hyper machine. I'm going to disagree politely with Coop on that. I think the Glute ham bench this Glute ham bench is probably the very first piece of real gym equipment I ever bought besides weights and a barbell and a rack. And I've found that this particular piece of equipment was outstanding. At the time I was having all kinds of back and hamstring issues, and the Glute ham bench was something that I found to be just a great tool. Now, part of his argument for not having a Glute ham bench and instead having a Nordic bench, he said it takes less space and it's harder. And I would disagree with the idea that harder is better. His argument was that it's harder and it's just better. I totally disagree with that premise. Just because it's harder doesn't make it better. And with a Glute ham bench, you can do all kinds of things that you just can't do with a Nordic bench. For example, if I set this up just normally the way I normally have it, I'm setting it up for a Glute ham bench. But I can do hyperextensions if I want, and then I can progress to the Glute ham raise. And I can do this exercise as well. So I can do, and if I want to, I can use a hyperextension as part of the movement. So I can start with some hip extension and then work in that knee flexion. You can't do this, you can't do that with a Nordic bench. Another thing you can't do with a Nordic bench is, if I want, I can use this as just a back extension, flexion extension exercise. You can't do that